नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली व नुसल्लिमु अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम वला तक़ूलू लिमन युक़तलु फ़ी सबीलिल्लाहि अमवात बल अहयाउन वलाकिन ला तशऊरून सदक़ल्लाहु मौलानाल अज़ीम। अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या सय्यदी या रसूलल्लाह, अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या सय्यदी या हबीबल्लाह, अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या सय्यदी या रहमतल लिल आलमीन व अला आलिका व अस्हाबिका या सय्यदी या महबूब रब्बिल आलमीन। नाज़रीन इकराम, अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि ताला व बरकातुहू। मुहर्रमुल हराम के मौजू पर मबनी 10 रोज़ा लेक्चर सीरीज़ आपकी खिदमत में मस्जिद अल-कुबा 5 सेंटर शेरवुड की जानिब से पेश की जा रही है और इसमें हमारे साथ तावन किया है जमात अहले सुन्नत नोटिंगम ने। अहबाब, you have been listening the stories of Karbala, and before that we discussed various topics. The topic we are discussing today is the journey of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu towards Karbala. And we mentioned the journey of Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu, who was sent by Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu as an ambassador and to find the facts and circumstances in Kufa before Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu embarks on that journey. We discussed that in detail, and the end bit is that of that journey is the Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu was then arrested by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, and he was taken from the house of Urwa ibn Hani. Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil was staying at the house of Urwa ibn Hani, and he was the only person who gave protection to Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu ta'ala anhu. It was later on with the secret police which was roaming around and looking for Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. One of the person who was from Syria, and he met one of the follower of Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu in Masjid Kufa and said, I am looking for Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. I want to take bayat on his hand and then give him some of my financial support as well, almost 3,000 dinar, which Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad actually gave him to take this money and ask people that I am one of the follower of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil and I want to get to him and present this money to him. And he was then taken to Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil, where he realized where Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil was staying. So he stayed for some time with them. When he came back, so he reported back to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad then sent his people to Urwa ibn Hani's place, and Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu was arrested. And he came and he had a chat with Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, and Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu, being one of the family of household of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he showed utmost courage to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, and he told him that you are wrong, Yazid is wrong, and we cannot see you people playing with the deen, and we have to oppose you. Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil, before he was martyred, he asked Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad that I want to make my final will, which he spared him to do. And Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu then spoke to Amr ibn Sa'd and gave him, he was next to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, and he asked him that, you do the following things. He gave him the wasiyat which he wanted to. And in fact, as we mentioned before, that he had his 2 sons also with him, which he handed over to Qazi Shuraih, who was the Qazi for Kufa, and he asked him that make my sons reach to Madinatul Munawwara, make sure that they get back to Medina Sharif. And then he asked Amr ibn Sa'd, the last person who was with him, that you write a letter to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu that I am being martyred. He said that I sent a letter before saying to Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu that circumstances are fine and they can come, but now you can see that I am being martyred now. So you make sure that you make this news reach to Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. Then he advised him also about his burial and things, and gave him a detailed wasiyat. And Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu was reciting takbir, tahleel, tasbih, istighfar, and Durud Pak, salawat upon Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was taken on top of on the rooftop of that garden house, and Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu was martyred there on top there, and then his mission could not complete because he was martyred by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, the ambassador of Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. Now, Sayyidina, as I mentioned, Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu had handed over his sons. His sons' name were Muhammad and Ibrahim, young sons, those who were not very grown up. They were not young adults, they were just young children, so they couldn't actually travel for very far on their own. So Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil said to Qazi Shuraih that you must make sure that these sons get to Medina Sharif. There is a detail and long story that Qazi Shuraih then sent those two sons with the caravan which were going to Medina. They couldn't walk fast enough with them, and caravan then left, and they were left behind, and then they were lost and taking refuge here and there, while Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad's people were looking for the sons of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. And one of the person who was from the party of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he got hold of them. His wife was actually a kind-hearted lady, and she gave them protection in her house. But he was looking for the two so that he can martyr them and report that to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, the governor of Kufa, and get his reward. And when he realized that my own wife is protecting them in my own house, so he got hold of them and he tried to assassinate them. When his own wife and his son came in the way, he killed them both. And then he assassinated the two young sons of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. And when he reported this to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, that I have done this, and in fact when he went to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he said to him that I killed your enemies. He said, by the way, who are my enemies? He says, the sons of Muslim ibn Aqil. So he said to this person, his name was Haris. He said to Haris that, but who asked you to kill those two young sons? I would have asked them to bring them alive to me. If Yazid asked that they should be presented to him alive, then what I'm going to do? So who asked you, who ordered you, who allowed you to kill them? So he said that I thought if I bring them alive to you, then the people will take them away from me on the way. Then Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad said to him that you should inform me, and I could have sent protection to bring them to me. So you decided on your own, and you made a wrong decision. You were not supposed to do that. And then Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was upset, and he asked the Jallad to kill Haris, and he asked Jallad to kill Haris, and Haris was then killed at the order of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad didn't do a big favor. What I can see is that this Haris, he killed the innocent young children, those who were already separated from their martyred father, and Allah Ta'ala did not spare him for long, and he was also within that same hour or two later, he was also killed, and he got to his destination. Now Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, as they received the first letter from Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil that things are fine and Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu can come. So following that letter and trusting that the information in that letter are correct, and they were, and trusting that, Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu then left Makkah al-Mukarramah. It was 8th of Dhul Hijjah, when Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu left, and Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu took with him the family member, ladies and children, and they set off to Kufa in Iraq. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu and then other Sahaba, they again in the last minute they requested Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu not to go there, but then Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said to them that I did find out the facts, and I sent Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil to find out the situation, and he writes to me that situation is in our favor. People have given bayat to Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil for me, and then things look favorable, so then I should go. And if I don't go, then there will be no one to protect the values of Islam, and people may go astray, and Yazid and his people, his governors, force them to actually compromise on the values of Islam, and the things that they are doing, they are completely contrary to Islam. So therefore I must go. Now at this stage I would like to explain to you is that when we look at the life of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, we realize that in life, when you come to make certain decision, very important decision in life, then Shariat Islamiyah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you choice. You have two routes to adopt. Either you take the route of choice and take the easy way out, or you choose the route of determination. In this particular situation, we look at the whole history and circumstances of Karbala. We find that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu did not take the choice easy way out and sit at home or sit in Makkah Sharif and be away from everything and disassociate himself from what was going on in the Khilafat of Islamiyah, and he did not choose that isolation and being away from the world. No, Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu chose to be in the center of the circumstances and to actually prevent what was happening with the values of Islam, and he made his mind to offer any sacrifice whatever Islam requires from him at that time, and to preserve the teachings and the values of Islam. Now, though it is also allowed in Sharia that when circumstances are not in favor of somebody, he can choose the easy way out, and in Quran Muqaddas there are verses of the Quran which allow a person, say for instance somebody is forced to eat something to save his life. We are not allowed to eat haram, but if somebody comes to a point where either is going to eat haram or die, then Sharia gives him the choice to eat haram, only that bit which can save his life, and then when he finds halal things to eat, then he choose halal only. He is not allowed to choose haram unless he is forced and he has a fear of his life. So like that, the other circumstances also where Sharia has given us the choice to choose the easy way out, and that's also not blameworthy. That's also accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but everybody is not the same. Some people choose the easy way out, and some stay determined and they choose the path of determination. And those people who are the role models and they set example for the world, they are not the one who choose the easy way out and take easy option and go in a safe corner, take a safe zone. So these are the people, those who stay determined and fight with their difficulties and sacrifice their belonging, their valuables and their life even. And these are the people who become role model for the rest of the world, and these are the people who history remembers and who history regards. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was one of them. He was the son of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Fatima Zahra radiallahu ta'ala anha, and he grew up in the lap Mubarak of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aka alayhi carried him on his shoulder Mubarak, and Nabi Kareem alayhi trained him himself, and therefore he did not want to choose an easy way out, and being the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, take a easy way out and a safe corner when the values of Islam were abolished and compromised, and they were then destroyed by Yazid and his people. Yazid, again, it will take us time to give you the account of his life, but basically he was a corrupt person, and he did not actually differentiate between halal and haram. So he was doing lots of haram things himself, and he had no respect and regard and ihtaram for the values of Islam. Therefore, it had become important for someone to stand up and to say what Yazid was doing was wrong. Yazid was corrupt, and his actions were actions of corruption, and his whole party was corrupt. Even his governors were corrupt. And when we see in the end, in fact, from the beginning till he died, we see all 3 years and 7 months of his ruling time was full of corruption. So in those circumstances, Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu then chose to leave Makkah. They left on 8th of Zulhijjah, and they carried on halfway through when they were going through. And then people, those who were coming from Iraq to Hijaz al-Muqaddas, he met people on the way now and then. And at a stage he met one of the famous poet of that time. His name was Farazdak. So he was coming from Kufa, and he on the way he met Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. So Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu asked him how the circumstances in Kufa. That was before receiving the news that Sayyidina Muslim ibn Aqil has been martyred. So Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu asked him that what is the position of the people you left behind? So it means Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu asked what is the position and views of the people of Iraq, so people of Kufa. So he said, Qulubun nas ma'aka wa suyufuhum ma bani Umayya. He said very factual thing and very good thing. He said good thing in the sense that he said something which was the fact, which was the in very brief words he actually explained everything. He said, Qulubun nas ma'ak, the hearts of the people are with you, wa sayufuhum ma bani Umayya, but their swords are with Banu Umayya. That deep down in their hearts, even they have support for you and they feel for you, but their swords, their force, their actual support, they stand with Banu Umayya. And Banu Umayya was Yazid and his people, the ruling class, the ruling people, the ruling family was Banu Umayya. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu heard his comments, and he said that Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said, what you're saying is correct, but matters are in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever He wills, that happens. And if Allah's decision is what we want, then we will be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if His decision is contrary to our hopes, then we will be contented with His decisions, and we will not make any complaint. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu greeted him and carried on with his journey. And when Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu proceeded further in his journey, he received a letter from his nephews Aun and Muhammad, they actually came with a letter from their father. And in that letter is written that Owner Muhammad, they were the nephews of Sayyidina Jafar. They were nephew of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, but they were sons of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Jafar, and they were sons of Hazrat Sayyida Zainab. And he said that I plea you that when you see my letter, you come back. And that letter actually came from Makkatul Mukarramah, and Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was presented that letter, which he received through his nephews On and Muhammad radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, and their father Abdullah ibn Jafar requested Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to come back. That he says, I fear that there will be a tough time for you and the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He even wrote that if you are martyred, then I fear that the light of Islam may extinguish, and you are the hope for the Ummah now. So therefore, you should not rush in your journey, and I am also following after this letter. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Jafar radiallahu anhu, after he sent that letter through his sons, he approached the Amir, the governor of Makkah, Amr ibn Sa'id, and he met him and said to him that Allah ibn Jafar, you write what you want to write on my behalf to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. I will stamp it, I will sign it, and you take that letter of guaranteed protection and you take it with you. If they come back, that will be my word, and I will protect them. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Jafar wrote that, and Amr ibn Sa'id stamped, and Abdullah ibn Jafar radiallahu anhu even asked Amr ibn Sa'id, the governor of Makkah, that you send one of your person with me, which will be a reassurance for Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu that there is protection for them in Makkah and they should come back. Then Amr ibn Sa'id, the governor of Makkah, sent his brother Yahya with Abdullah ibn Jafar to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, who had passed halfway through already in his journey to Iraq. And in the end, they left from Makkah, and in the end they met Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu before they could arrive Karbala. And they they read this letter out to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and said to them that there is protection for you in Makkatul Mukarramah if you come back. And Abdullah ibn Jafar radiallahu anhu, husband of Hazrat Sayyida Zainab, he tried his best to stop Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, requested Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to change his mind and come back. And that was his whole effort. What he did, he made all his effort. First he sent his sons with his letter, so that at least Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu slows down, and then he went after that himself. But Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu refused to return, and he said, Inni rayatu Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fil manam faqad amarani fiha bi amrin wa ana madin lahu faqala wa ma tilka roya faqala la uhaddithu bi ahadan hatta alqa rabbi azza wa jal. This is in Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, Ibn Asir and Tariq al-Tabari. Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu replied to these two people, Abdullah ibn Jafar and Yahya. He said to them that I dreamt of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa barak wasallam, and Nabi Kareem alayhi salam ordered me to complete a mission which I will complete at any cost. They asked, what was the dream, by the way? He said to them that I will not reveal that dream to anyone until I meet my Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the response from Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. But beside this, Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned that this my son will be martyred by the people from my ummah. And therefore Nabi Kareem alayhi salam used to make dua, Allahumma ate Husaynan sabran wa ajra. O Allah, give Hussain tawfiq for patience and reward him. Nabi Kareem alayhi salam never made dua that, "Oh Allah, turn this test away from Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu." Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wa taslim knew about it, and that's a very famous hadith which every one of us know, that Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam gave sand of Karbala to Hazrat Salma radiallahu ta'ala anha, and said to her that when this sand turns into blood, then you must know that my son Hussain has been martyred. And there were many other signs which Nabi Kareem alayhi salam already explained. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, once they were passing by Karbala, and they mentioned that these are the places where my family will put up. They'll be their place for their rides, and that will be the place where they'll be camping. That will be the place where they will get martyred, and all that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu mentioned that. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu says, "Ha huna manakhu raqabihim wa mawdi'u rihalihim wa mahraqu dimaihim fiyatun min ali Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam yuqtaluna bi hadhihi al-harsa tabki alayhim as-sama'u wal ard." So they said, this is the place where Imam Hussain and their caravan will put up. This is the place for the camels to sit, and this is the place for their luggage to store, and this is the place where the blood will flow. And he said, a group from the household of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be martyred in this ground, in this plan, and sky and earth both will cry on them. So this was said by Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu. And Nabi Kareem alayhi salam, what Akara had said to Sayyida Salma, "Ya Salma, iza tahawwalat hadhihi turbatu daman fa'alami anna ibni qad qutil." That, "O Salma, when this sand turns into blood, then you must know that my son Hussain has been martyred." So these were the things which was explained by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi Kareem alayhi salam indicated and warned the ummah before time what will happen to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. In this particular hadith, Nabi Kareem alayhi salam handed over that sand to Sayyida Salma when other wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were also alive. Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha was also alive. The point here is that why Nabi Kareem alayhi salam gave that to Hazrat Salma, because Nabi Kareem alayhi salam knew that Hazrat Salma will be the only one who will be alive when this incident of Karbala will take place. All others will leave dunya before 61 after Hijrah, but Sayyida Salma will still be alive. So therefore, this sand of Karbala was left with Sayyida Salma radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu carried on with their journey, and on the way they received this news that Sayyidina Imam Muslim Rakil has been martyred. And when they received this news, then things turn differently, and people again requested Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to reconsider going forward in their journey. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was given the detailed account of the shahadat of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. And those people who reported this to Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, they also requested that Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu takes care of the family, and goes back, because we don't see there's any supporter of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu in Kufa. But the people, those who were with Hazrat Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, they also said that if Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil radiallahu anhu has been martyred, then there is no joy if we still remain alive after him. We will go and we will take revenge. That was the, not in the society of Arab it was before, it was common thing, but it was common sense as well to go and find out why Sayyidina Muslim bin Aqil radiallahu anhu was martyred. And they couldn't just turn back and leave that matter as it was not important. It was important. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, even when they proceeded further, it was not their aim to fight. As I said when giving you the details of this journey, the Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu did not have the army with them, did not have weaponry with them to fight. So they were going to speak to the people and to have a dialogue with them, to the people. But this turned into a battle in the end, because they did not allow Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to negotiate with even Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad or to Yazid. So therefore, there was no way left for Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu but to fight. But why it came down only to the fight is that every time they knew that if they release Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, wherever Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu is going to go, people will come around them and they will then gather their power, and it will be a threat for the government of Yazid. So that was the whole thing. So the aim was to capture Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and not to even arrest them and capture them. So they knew that then Ummah will be after those people who will capture Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu or to arrest them. The aim was to martyr them, and they thought that after assassinating Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, their government perhaps will last forever. They did not know that kullu man alayha fan wa yabqa wajhu rabbika zul jalali wal ikram. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, after they received the news that Hazrat Muslim bin Aqil has been martyred, they continued with their journey. And while they were aiming to Kufa, the people, those on the way, throughout the route, people, those who knew that this is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they're going to Kufa. Through the love, out of love, they also joined Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu is going to on a safe journey, so let's join them and stay with them wherever they will go. But when they received the news that the things have turned to a very difficult mode, to a very difficult angle, the things have turned to. So Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu then mentioned to allow all those people, those who had joined them on the way, that you people can find a safe place for yourself. Now we are going on a different kind of journey. The leg of journey which is ahead of us is a difficult one. So best is that you people go back, or you find refuge for yourself. So most of the people, those who joined them on the way, they then turned back, and only those people were left with Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, those who were from Ahl Bayt, and those who were with Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu throughout the journey. They started the journey with them. Other people, they went away. Hurr ibn Yazid, he was one of the leader of the small army troop, so who came to a place called Kozi Hasham. He came there, and he was actually sent to arrest Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. He had 1,000 people with him, and he was sent to arrest Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. The history says that he had respect for Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, therefore he was performing his salah behind Imam, and he stopped Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. Then Imam Hussain radiallahu opened those letters, the bags of letters, and said to him that these are the letters people of Kufa wrote to me. And at that place of Qazi Hasham, those local people, those who were there, they were people from the Kufa region. So Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu addressed them after Asr prayer. And he said to them that you must follow the truth and you break away from the oppressors and corrupt regime. And these are the letters which you and your colleagues wrote to me. And on your invitation, I am coming. And he said to them that if you have betrayed me, then it means I should go back. He asked them this question. Hur then said that we don't know who wrote this letter and who is responsible. Then Sayyidina Imam Hussain showed him the 2 bags full of letters. And Hur then said, we are not from those who wrote these letters. We have been ordered, Hur said to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, that we have been ordered to arrest you wherever you go, wherever you camp. We are going to arrest you, and we will not allow you to go any further. Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said to him that it means that you want to arrest me and take to Ibn Ziyad, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said, this is impossible. You won't be able to get hold of me. No, I'm prepared to go to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad and to give him any importance. We will not do that. Then Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu ordered his people to get on to their rights, and history says that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu intended to turn back, but Hur stopped them. He did not leave the way for them to come back. He stopped them. Then Sayyidina Imam Hussain asked him that, what do you want? Why you are stopping us? We want to return, and you are stopping us. He said that I'm not advised to fight you, but I have been ordered to stay with you until I take you to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad in Kufa. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu refused. Then he said that if you refuse, then you take a route which does not go to Kufa and that does not also go to Medina. So what he actually said is that, Hur ibn Yazid, he said, you take a route which does not go to Kufa, I mean you can't go forward, and then take a route which does not go to Medina also. So it means you can't go back to Medina. So what is left there? Some other direction. So then he said that I will write to Yazid, we'll find if there's any other solution we can find. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu then ordered the people of the caravan to take a route which is going to Qadisiyah. And in this whole journey, Hur ibn Yazid with his army, he was walking with the Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu all the way. And then he did not allow them to travel independently and go where they wanted to go. And while they were traveling, they came to a place called Nineveh. And while they were staying there, just made a pause there, they saw somebody coming from very far. And then Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu waited. Everybody waited. When that person came closer, he greeted everyone and he gave a letter to Hur which was sent by Ibn Ziyad, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. In that letter he said that you must put pressure on Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu when you receive this letter, and you confine him in a place where there is nothing to eat or drink. So now they were tightening the circumstances around Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. And he said, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, that do not allow Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to put up in a place where there is something to eat or drink. So water or fruit or vegetables or anything which they can use it as a food stuff. So it means that you push them and force them to land in a place which is completely desert. That's what Hur ibn Yazid did. And then he said to Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu that I will not allow you to put up in a place which is a village or small habitant area. I will force you to get to a place where nobody stays around and it's a barren land. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and their caravan were continuing their journey until they arrived to a place which is the region is known as Nineveh. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu landed there on 2nd of Muharram, which was Thursday. And they put up their tents there. And Hur also put up his tents. And history says that though Hur ibn Yazid had some respect for the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was still praying behind Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, but history says that he was forced by the order of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. He was so cruel that if Hur ibn Yazid al-Tamimi wouldn't follow the orders of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he would have killed him, his family, and he would have destroyed his everything. So that was, I mentioned to you previously, that their fear they created in people's heart, and they threatened them that you will be destroyed if you don't obey us and you don't follow what we say. So Hur ibn Yazid al-Tamimi was the one who stopped Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. When Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu stopped there, and because he was not allowed to go any further, their movement was completely restricted. Then Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu asked that that place looked very strange and very unpleasant. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu asked the people, what is the name of this place? They said, this place is known as Karbala. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said, then put up your tents here and made your stay. This is the last destination of our journey. When Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu arrived Karbala, then he came to remember once again all those sayings of Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu taslim, all those news, good news, and the news about the test, and then that event, that time when they were playing with their elder brother Hazrat Imam Hassan, and Jibreel Amin then came and presented Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam the sand of that place, which is called Karbala, in a small bottle, and said to Nabi Kareem alayhi salam that Ya Rasulullah, after you, your ummah, a jamaat, a group of the people, will assassinate your son Hussein. And Jibreel brought that sand to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi Kareem alayhi salam smelled it, and Aqal said, it smells difficulties and tests and trials and tribulations. That's what it smells. So that's was the sand which Nabi Kareem alayhi salam gave to Sayyida Salma radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Now these people were eventually stopped at the place of Karbala, traveling from Mecca, stage by stage, step by step, manzil by manzil. They then arrived long before they could enter Kufa. They were stopped by Hur ibn Yazid with the army of 1,000. They were then surrounded and taken into circles, changed their route, diverted them from the route where they were going, and they were diverted them from the route where they wanted to come back. They were put on a different route. They eventually ended up at this place where the fresh instruction from Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was sent, and Hur ibn Yazid Tamimi received that. And then they tightened the circumstances and situation around Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. They then forced them to confine himself in the place of Karbala. And not only that, Amr ibn Sa'd, another army leader of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad and the popular to Yazid, he then came at that place with the further army. 1,000 was sent with the Hur ibn Yazid Tamimi, and they added up the number of army, the troops, until they reached to, they used to say there were almost 22,000. In front of who? How many? 72. 73 old gents they were in that kafla of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, in the group of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. And in that 72, there were young children, innocent child, Sayyidina Ali Asghar, the youngest son of Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, and one unwell son of Sayyidina Imam Hussain, Hazrat Ali Akbar was martyred, Ali Osat, they were with that group, and they were the only person saved in this whole incident. So in front of 72, there were 22,000 people. So one can imagine how difficult it was. And this was not really a balanced fight where they were, both the armies were prepared, and they were then in a position to fight. It was very outbalanced. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and their companions, they were determined to sacrifice their lives for the sake of Islam. But as I said, that when you look at the history of battles, so this was not a balanced or no prepared battle. Sayyidina Imam Hussain was traveling to go to Iraq, and he was responding to the invitation, so he was not going to fight, otherwise he would have a big army with him. So after all these people were martyred, Hazrat Imam Zainul Abidin, the Ali Osat, the middle son of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, was only saved. So they put up there, and then Ubaydullah, this Amr ibn Sa'd comes with a further army, and on the 7th of Muharram, they then stopped Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to take water sources from around. We often listen that it was the river of Euphrates, the Riya Farat, where Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was taking water, so, and their companion, it was not the river Euphrates, the Riya Farat. It was a small river branch made from that river Farat, and which was passing nearby Karbala, and the name of that small river was Nahr al-Alqama. Nahr al-Alqama, that was the name of that water stream which was running next to Karbala, where this family of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu used to take water. But on 7th, they were stopped to take water from there. And after 7, 8, 9, 10, 3 days, they didn't have the water. Almost more than 3 days, nearly 4 days. So 7th, they were stopped to receive water. And 8, 9, 10, they had no water for 3 days. Everybody could drink water from that Nahr al-Alqama. If no one could drink, and that was the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And with these people, those who were going through the hunger and thirst, they were then martyred in that situation, and not even they were not allowed to take water. And these were the people who claimed to be Muslim, and they were the one who were reciting kalima of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yet they martyred the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that state. Now, when Amr ibn Sa'd came with the more army troops, then Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu spoke to Amr ibn Sa'd, and Amr ibn Sa'd asked Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu that why Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu came to this place. Imam replied that the people of Kufa wrote to me that I must come to them and lead them. If they don't want me, and if they have now turned away from their promise, then I go back to Mecca. Ibn Sa'd said that I wish that this battle doesn't take place. But nobody trusts them what they were saying. But he said so. He wrote to Amr ibn Sa'd. History said that Amr ibn Sa'd wrote to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, who was the governor of the Kufa. And as I said, Kufa is not far from Karbala. It's not very far. Could be 150 to 200 kilometers, or perhaps 150 almost. It's not far. So the messaging from Kufa to Karbala was not difficult. So messengers were going up and down and keeping Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad up to date with the situation. So when Amr ibn Sa'd suggested that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu wants to go back to Mecca, Ibn Ziyad wrote that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and his companion cannot go anywhere. So he said that make the conditions tough on them and stop them to take water from the Nahr al-Qama. And until they support Yazid, we cannot spare them. And once they support Yazid, then we will think next what should we do with them. Then Amr ibn Sa'd followed the instruction from Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, and it was stopped for Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu to take water from the Nahr al-Qama. Before that they used to take water, but not after 7th. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, as I said always, that they did not want fight. They gave khutbah upon khutbah to these people. They said to them that you know who am I, whose grandson I am, and you know Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wa taslim, you know I am from Ahl Bayt, and I have no intention to fight you people if you can come to some terms. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said to them, these are the last proposals which Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu forwarded to the people, those who were negotiating with Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. And as I said, the person who was leading this talk on this end was Amr ibn Sa'd, who was the army leader sent by Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, the governor of Kufa. And Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, history says that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu spoke to Ibn Sa'd in privacy for long, and nobody could hear that, what negotiation took place. But when they came back to their groups, so there are two reports about that talk which Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu had with Amr ibn Sa'd. One was that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said to Ibn Sa'd that we leave our people here and we go to Yazid, both of us, and then we can speak to him direct and we can resolve our issues. Ibn Sa'd said that if I do that Ibn Ziyad will destroy my house, he will confiscate my belongings and he will destroy my family. So Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said to him that I will give you much more than Ibn Ziyad can take away from you. But he did not agree. And another opinion say that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu made 3 offers to Amr ibn Sa'd. He said to him, we go both of us, we go to Yazid and talk to him. That's one. Number 2 is that you do not stop me and I go back to Hijaz al-Muqaddas. Hijaz mean either Makkah or Medina. Then the third thing was that I go to the borders where Muslim army is fighting the non-Muslims and I will go fight with them, the kuffar. Amr ibn Sa'd wrote this to Ibn Ziyad and he replied that none of these proposals we are going to accept. And next to him at that time was sitting Shimr al-Joshan. Shimr al-Joshan was one of those cursed people who actually assassinated Hazrat Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. So he said to Amr ibn Ziyad, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, that if you leave Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, you will never be able to get control of him again. So therefore, for you is the last chance. So all of them, they were advising each other to assassinate Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. Now, Amr al-Joshan, he then, Ibn Ziyad then said to him that your opinion values, because they were all led by shaitan. So Shimr al-Joshan then came with a message that you must attack Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. There is no negotiation is over, and must attack them. And he wrote to Amr ibn Sa'd that if he does not follow instruction of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, then Shimr al-Joshan must take over and you must fight Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. He said that Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu is not obeying the government, but they forgot to think that they were not the legitimate people, those who were ruling. So they thought, look at those people, the most corrupt people on the face of earth. They thought to themselves that they are perhaps the rulers and they should be obeyed. There's a beautiful saying of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. He was asked to vote for Yazid and take bayat for Yazid and support him and obey him and submit himself or surrender himself to Yazid and just follow what he says and just accept him. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said something very beautiful. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said that people like me do not support people like Yazid. And that is so beautifully said. Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu said, people like me do not support people like Yazid. And this short sentence says a lot. That those people who are that status, Sayyidina Imam Hussain being the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was certainly correct. It was very correct that a personality like Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would never accept Yazid, a most corrupt person on the face of earth that time. Sayyidina Imam Hussain couldn't accept him as leader for the Muslims. So that's what Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu replied to the people of Yazid. It was the 9th day when this negotiation was taking place. This negotiation came to end on 9th day. So next was the 10th day. So that was the night where Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu addressed his people, they spent the night in azkar, in ibadat. They knew that tomorrow morning, the 10th of Muharram, will be the fight. So therefore, they spent the night in Allah's ibadat. In those years, the battle used to take place during the day, in the morning, and by the evening, there used to be a decision who is the winner and who defeated. Mostly the battles were for a day, whether it's a big army or small army, but people used to show their full force, and by the end of the day, it used to end. So that same thing happened. So, but these stories which we mentioned so far, these stories are up to the 9th of Muharram. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, as I said, 2nd of Muharram, Thursday, they arrived in the place Karbala, and they were then stopped there. And this negotiation continued. Every effort was made to resolve this matter, but the stubborn people from Yazid and Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad and them, they had one thing in their mind: to assassinate the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that there is no threat left for their government. For the dunya, they committed this big sin, perhaps the biggest sin on the face of earth, and then history completely changed. Now, if you look at the sacrifice of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, that is so great that if we are benefiting from the religion of Islam today, that is due to the sacrifice of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. Otherwise, if they could not oppose, if they would not oppose Yazid had already compromised all the values of Islam, and in his time there was no difference between halal and haram when it's come to the relationship or eating or praying or performing salah or anything. So Yazid had actually destroyed the values of Islam, and he was the corrupt person, and allowing Yazid to continue was actually allowing the deen of Islam to be destroyed. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu stood firm, and they saved the deen of Islam, which we are benefiting from today. And therefore we are indebted to Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and their martyred companions who gave their lives to save the values of Islam. And big sacrifice is needed for big mission to complete. Mission was great, so therefore sacrifice was also great. Dear viewers, inshallah we'll continue from here, inshallah. And we will mention now the circumstances which took place on the 10th of Muharram, which is really very sad portion of this whole story. Inshallah, we'll give the summary and the lessons what we learn. And there's many more things, as I said in the past, that we'll mention certain things how Muslims should respond to this incident of Karbala, what they should believe and how they should react. How should they remember this story, and what Muslim Ummah is supposed to do. We'll come to that, inshallah. And I would like to remind you to continue making Fatiha for Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, the martyred companions, and the remaining people from the group of Ahl Bayt. That's what we are supposed to do these days and always, to make nawafil, to recite Quran Muqaddas, and give charity in the name of these great personalities, and more importantly, giving the sadaqah jariyah in form of water pumps, water wells, whatever the water facility we can afford to give, but we should give that. That's something lasting, something which is sadaqah jariyah. And the water which was stopped at the family of Sayyidina Imam, which was stopped for family of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, and they were barred to drink water from that Nahr Alqama. I feel honored and fortunate to have visited those places twice. The whole route in Iraq from Baghdad to Karbala, from Karbala to Kufa, then to Najfi Ashraf, and visiting that Karbala Mu'alla and those places where Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and their companions were martyred, where Sayyidah Zainab put up their tent and the other family members of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu put up their tents, and where Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was martyred and the companions, and the Roza Mubarak of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, Roza Mubarak of Sayyidina Abbas Alamdar radiallahu anhu, and all the mizarat of those shuhada. Their history is still preserved, and Alhamdulillah, I had the honor to visit those places twice. We still wish to go again. It's amazing to see that whole history and to travel on that route and see yourself those places where Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu was martyred and where they are buried. So I pray that Allah Ta'ala takes you all to visit those holy places. But there is a lesson for us to learn, and the actions what we are supposed to do, and among them what I mention is to do something good to please those souls and to benefit from their soul Mubaraks and to get their attention by doing good actions, praying, reciting, and doing Sadaqah Jariyah, especially the water, on the behalf of the Shuhada of Karbala Mu'alla Ridwanullah Ta'ala al-Majma'in. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us true understanding, correct understanding of this history of Karbala, and gives us tawfiq to learn the lessons which we are supposed to learn, and to follow the model life of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, and to love them and their family, so that we collect the asset and the arrangement for tomorrow, means life hereafter. So Allah Ta'ala gives us tawfiq ताकि हम इस दुनिया और आखिरत के लिए अपना ज़ादिरात जमा कर सकें, अपनी मोहब्बतें आले बैत अतहार रिदवानुल्लाह ताला अलैहि मजमाइन के साथ कायम करके, उनके साथ मोहब्बत करके, उनके तर्ज़ ज़िंदगी को फॉलो करके हम अपने लिए इस दुनिया और आखिरत के लिए ज़ादिरात जमा करें। अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला उन शुहदा के दर्जात बुलंद फरमाए, उनके बदले में उम्मत मुसलमान की इनफरादी इज्तिमाई मुश्किलात को आसान फरमाए, और हम सब को सिरात मुस्तकीम पर कायम दायम फरमाए। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि व सल्लिम अला सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन नबिय्यिल उम्मी व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि व बारिक सल्लिम। अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बना अंत वलिय्युना फिद दुनिया वल आखिरा तवफ़्फ़ना मुस्लिमीन व अलहिक़ना बिस्सालिहीन। अल्लाहुम्मा आतिना हुब्बका व हुब्ब हबीबिका व हुब्ब मन युहिब्बुका व हुब्ब अमलिन युक़र्रिबुना इलैक। हस्बुनल्लाहु व निअमल वकील, निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर, वला हौला वला कुव्वता इल्ला बिल्लाहिल अलिय्यिल अज़ीम। अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बना अंत वलिय्युना फिद दुनिया वल आखिरा तवफ़्फ़ना मुस्लिमीन व अलहिक़ना बिस्सालिहीन। अल्लाहुम्मा अर्ज़ुक़ना शहादतन फ़ी सबीलिका व मौतन फ़ी बलद हबीबिका सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि व आलिहि व बारिक वसल्लम। अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बना आतिना फ़िद दुनिया हसना व फ़िल आखिरति हसना व क़िना अज़ाबन नार व नुफ़व्विदु उमूरना इलल्लाह इन्नल्लाह बसीरुम बिल इबाद। व सल्लल्लाहु तआला अला हबीबिही सय्यदिना मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि अजमाइन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि तआला व बरकातुहू।